Oh, hello? Noises? Anyone? Hi everyone, welcome to another stream. Sorry, my mic got deselected and I didn't notice until I started talking. So let me start again. Purple Nickel, thanks for 20 months. Hello, Mr. Blast. There's a hydrate from earlier. Sorry I missed your bits. Thanks for 12 months. Happy anniversary. And we're all caught up. So welcome to a Conspiracy Saturday stream. I couldn't think of anything alliterative to title this, so it's just Saturday and we're doing conspiracies. I just dripped water all over myself. So that's good. It's fine. Alright, let's get into it. We're not doing bingo or the foil today. It's hot. It's super hot. I don't want to wear the foil. I'll wear the ears. I'll wear the ears or the horns. That's fine. But I won't wear the jacket because it's very hot. So let's just jump into it. We can do bingo for fun if you want, but I'm gonna be honest, I'm pretty broke right now, so I can't like do the bingo sub today. But if you want to play bingo for fun, go for it. There's no new CC. He hasn't been posting, so I'm sorry. There's no new CC. Did I see the Georgia Guidestones thing? I did. Someone blew him up. Dr. Gamble says call it Saturday Suspicion. That's too vague. It's too vague for Twitch. You gotta write in the title, know what's going on.
Oceania, east of Australia and Indonesia, all those
I can raid Surus after this.
islands, the French Polynesia and all those
Thanks,
islands,
Overthought.
Pacific. Let's just enjoy the pictures then for like a while. So if the vibes of Cosmos maps are true, this is close to the forbidden continent of Lemuria, which might still be floating if it wasn't
You don't even need to do a poll. We'll do bingo for fun. That's fine.
destroyed. Unless it's destroyed and it's underneath the water, but if not, it makes sense why all these paradigms.
If we're doing bingo for fun, I do need to clear the sheet. Because I usually clear it right before we're gonna play. But I didn't think we were gonna play today. Oh no, I have Cotton Eye Joe stuck in my head. Why? Cotton Eye Joe. That sounded nothing like Cotton Eye Joe. What series of noises just came out of my body? I hope your friend stays safe, non-binary superpowers. Okay. Back at it.
Nice beaches with the sun and the sea and the sand and
Just play big oily butt and get rid of it.
I just wanna know. So these are all like, oh, actually, let's go back. So this is a lagoon in Rarotonga, the Cook Islands. The Cook Islands. I mean, the first time I actually saw the Cook Islands was in a musical video of the '90s with DJ Bobo, I think. You know that singer, very popular in the '90s. And seeing all those paradises, you know, like I feel like really bad right now, because I mean I live in a place where I have beach and stuff, but it's not this type of. This is the main beach in one of the islands in the French Polynesia.
Gay Agenda 69, thanks for 8 months, says, reject humanity, return to cat girl. Stone Corbell with 100 bits says, kick off this dang hype train, and a hype train is kicked off indeed.
The Cook Islands. And I should definitely go there. I mean, look at that water. It's just a crystal clear water and the blue sky and such a...
Get to Lemuria! Bumble Homestead, thanks for 200 bits.
You don't get this. Like, you get this in Mexico, pretty much similar, but I don't even think it's at the same level as you get in the French Polynesia and that side of the world. And I like I said before, now I'm gonna put more. This is Bora Bora.
What's Lemuria? Lemuria is kind of similar to like Atlantis in that it's a fictional lost civilization. Conspiracy theorists toy around with it existing just like they do Atlantis and all these other fake places. Aldra with 100 bits says, thank you for fun, bingo. Well, thank you for fun viewing. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub. Level 1 complete.
Bora Bora is just...
Astrofox with 100 bits says, ooh, a conspiracy I didn't know about before. It's not super interesting. It's very similar to the Atlantis thing, where they think it was like a really powerful, technologically advanced, like, ancient civilization, and then it was destroyed for some reason. It's basically just Atlantis again. Astrofox said, oh, I just read that. I always do that.
Bora Bora makes sense. I mean, imagine if you would be allowed to go in a straight line over Bora Bora and reach Lemuria, if the Vibes of Cosmos maps are true, and that would be awesome. That would just be, as you can see, everything is flat, of course, and the water does not curve, no such thing as gravity, no such thing as curved spinning water. But also, it says Bora Bora as well, so Bora Bora from the plane or the helicopter flying above Bora Bora. And this is Rarotonga.
Puka, thanks for 200 bits.
Places in the
Chromatic
Cook
Cuttlefish
Islands.
says, what is this Flat Earth travelogue?
Just like that, and I got person
42%
lying there.
to 2.
And just, I know, like, in the end, if you stay too much time in the sun, you get burned, you get sunburned.
Oh my god, what does he
water.
talk about
It's like
Lemuria? What the fuck is he
spent,
doing?
To be honest, lots of money, lots of thousands of dollars, but, I mean, life is so short, right? You just live and die, so they're like, what better place to spend your money than in the Pacific Ocean? And not just the Pacific Ocean, also Mexico and the Caribbean and all those. Feel lazy because I could do some videos here as well.
I think this conspiracy theorist just, like, I don't know, wanted to talk about the beach. Let's find out what Jeranism thinks the sun is. That was not Beach Towel Guy. They're very similar, but it's not Beach Towel Guy. 42% to level 2 with 2.5 minutes left.
Is the sun. The sun. What is the sun? The sun is a nearly perfect ball of hot plasma, heated to incandescence by Earth's magnetic field.
What? Icke the cat, thanks for 14 months. 69% to level 2. Nice.
It is considered a plasmoid. What is plasma? Plasma is the fourth state of matter. It is a supercharged gas. This experiment uses a microwave, some tinfoil, and a glass beaker.
Can I lower it? Sure. Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting 5 tier 1 subs to the community and getting us over level 2 of the hype train.
Plasma can be hot, and it can also be cold.
Thanks, Evil Dead Guy.
What is a plasmoid?
I don't think that's a good idea.
It's a combination of plasma and magnetic fields. You can manipulate plasma in many ways using a magnetic field and frequencies.
Stone Corbell, thanks for gifting a sub.
Many scientists agree that 99% of the observable universe is made of plasma.
Steve, thanks for 200 bits, getting us over level 3.
What is a particle accelerator? It is a series of thousands of superconducting magnets over a large area. A superconducting magnet is an electromagnet made from coils of superconducting wire. They must be cooled to cryogenic temperatures during operation. LHC is comprised of over 1,200 superconducting magnets. According to the International Atomic Energy Agency, more than 30,000 accelerators are in use around the world.
Aldera with 50 bits says, I feel dumber when she finished that sentence. I don't know why they're using a text-to-speech thing for this, because this definitely isn't Jeranism. Jeranism is a guy.
Shows the location of some particle accelerators.
Did you hear that? 30,000 accelerators. Unbelievable.
Can a particle accelerator intensify?
I'm sorry, say again?
I'm not aware of that many people, that many scientists who are really studying into this stuff, and so I'm kind of wondering why they need so many of those.
Yeah.
Why do they need 30,000 particle colliders? Because there are a lot of people in the field of particle physics, apparently. Like, 30,000 amongst a population of 8 billion people isn't that much, and I don't know how many people work at each one. Most of them aren't like the LHC. The Large Hadron Collider is large. It's the biggest one in the world. Most of them aren't that big, so there's a lot of smaller particle accelerators that are working at smaller labs. Dirtjer, thanks for 50 bits with a link. Aries Corinther says 30,000 accelerators. It's over 9,000. What game is this? Mystical Ninja.
30,000? What the hell?
Sounds like
I
they
know.
got a bigger project going on. You know, it's not like they're making these groundbreaking discoveries out of those things every day or anything.
I don't know about the field of particle physics, but I would assume, yeah, there are probably entire journals just for particle physics. I don't know that to be the case, but, like, I'm not a physicist, much less a particle physicist, so it's not something I pay attention to. It's wild to me how many flat earthers and, like, science-denying conspiracy theorists and stuff, just because they haven't heard about a thing, they assume it can't exist. It's a borderline solipsistic way of living, and it's super weird.
Like that. Just think about how much money it would cost to refrigerate.
H. Baird says, a lot of accelerators are used to create medical isotopes, treat cancer, and perform nuclear and particle physics experiments. Thank you. See, these are things I didn't know, because they're not within the purview of anything that I come across in my daily life. I don't assume because I didn't know about that and those uses, I didn't assume that there's a big conspiracy, which is the healthy way to go. Chromatic Cuttlefish with 75 bits says, I would guess a lot of them are relatively low-powered linear accelerators used for radiation therapy. 13% to level 4, with a minute and a half left.
Of that. And, you know, to power those things, that's ridiculous.
And they have huge ones. Like, I think even Nike has one. Major companies have huge ones scattered throughout, almost like a grid system throughout the Earth. So it's very fascinating.
And yet they don't really tell you what they're using them for.
Yeah,
Right,
dark
but-
matter, search my ass, right?
I don't think there's any dark matter in your ass. Maybe some brown matter.
But
That was lowbrow, I apologize.
get in
Less than a minute left on the hype train.
in a realm where our sun is small and local as opposed to large, you know, very incredibly large and incredibly distant. Remember, what we do here can affect what happens there. Again, go back to some of the work on the earthquakes and how when they were trying to correlate earthquakes and sunspots, that they got stuck on it because there
What? Earthquakes and
did
sunspots?
seem to be a correlation.
Earthquakes are caused by Earth's tectonic plates shifting. What? Excessive Observer with 1,000 bits gets us to 56% with 10 seconds left. How are cats doing? They're good. They've been getting along pretty well lately.
With the two, but it seemed like the Earth was affecting the sunspots, not the other way around.
Thanks for the level 3 hype, everyone.
And
And thank you, Excessive Observer, for the last minute bits.
And again, when you start looking at things like this, it starts getting really spooky. So I'll be quiet because this is one of the videos that really, really spooked me out, and I felt a little quiver of truth in it. With those little truth bumps that come, that yeah, they're intentionally doing something dark. But I'll go back on mute.
Okay, yeah, it spooked me out too, and you know, I can see the correlation absolutely, and it, like I said, kind of scares the hell out of me because these people don't seem to care if they've destroyed the very place they're living or not, because they obviously know much more about this place than we do, and
He unironically believes that a particle accelerator like CERN is gonna, like, open a black hole like it's a goddamn sci-fi movie.
you know, we have
And I don't mean sci-fi as in science fiction. I mean sci-fi as in, like, the people who made SYFY. The Sci-Fi Channel. You know, when they made all those stupid, terrible direct-to-TV movies? Jaleel White was in a few of them. I think they made a movie named Mansquito. It was about a half man, half mosquito. He was the Mansquito.
we have to extrapolate what they're thinking by their actions. That's really all we have, because they're sure as hell not going to tell us. So let's continue.
I'm kind of thinking about microwaves here and about how they kind of get the electromagnetics spinning around like that in order to try and microwave the Earth maybe here? I don't know.
Microwave the Earth? He thinks we're trying to microwave the Earth?
Oh, yeah, there's... we
Like a hot pocket, the Earth is also way too hot in the center and cold on the outside.
we can do a whole show on microwave. And in fact, we will. Okay? Let's continue.
Sounds good.
And a whole
By
show
the
on
sun
notable
and
points.
cause record-breaking heat waves. If the sun is a local plasmoid in Earth's magnetic field, then yes, it can. Inside this light bulb is plasma. Watch as it intensifies when it is in close proximity to the magnet.
Heat waves are pushing temperatures to their highest levels ever recorded.
H. Baird says particle accelerators use a lot of electricity. So what with climate change thesis? This thesis about particle accelerators and climate change isn't 100% crazy. It's crazy because it's a non sequitur to it. Like, it's crazy because it's like saying particle accelerators cause global warming because it uses electricity is like saying all electricity does, which it does if it's getting it from, like, fossil fuels, but it's not. It's a technically correct statement, but it's a misleading and inaccurate statement. Tucker White says, wait, fuck, Hannah, are you telling me that Sharknado has no basis in reality? There are sharks, and there are tornadoes. Never the twain shall meet.
It has reached over 40 degrees in parts of Europe, North America, Asia, and the Middle East. Wildfires have been burning out of control. Experts say heat waves like this have become more frequent because of climate change caused by humans.
Is there evidence that particle accelerators are to blame? Yes.
No! No! These people will believe literally anything but the truth. There's literally... You could even make it a conspiracy, because it kind of is. Oil companies spending millions of dollars in decades trying to, like, obfuscate understood research about climate change. Like, that's a conspiracy, but that's not enough for them because it's real.
Let's take a look at the 3 areas on Earth with the worst heat waves in 2022. Now let's compare that to the location of 3 of the largest particle colliders in the world.
These people are the dumbest people on the planet, I swear to God.
Here is a video from North Africa, 2017. A strange solar event near the particle accelerator in Saudi Arabia can be seen.
Tiger White says, how much do you think these outlandish conspiracies stem from the truth often being more boring? I think a lot of it has to do with people wanting to feel special. First name bunch of numbers says, this person is going to make me whip out the pool drawings, or pool drownings versus Nicolas Cage movies chart again. I like that chart.
This next video is from our friends in Paris, July 2022. Very close to the LHC.
So I'll do it in English also. It's the apocalypse in Paris, so if you're a tourist, don't come. Don't come. We don't know what the fuck is going on. It's like the city.
You know, I actually saw that happen a few years ago, and I thought my eyes were...
I don't understand what I'm supposed to be looking at. It's overcast? Is it just because it's super overcast this day? Tucker White says, we're just looking at a solar eclipse, right? I'm not sure what the previous thing was. It was either a solar eclipse or something else in front of it, yeah.
Tricks on me. Because you wouldn't normally expect to look up at the sun and see it, doubling in brightness and going to half brightness, I was just thinking, wow, that's got to be
Sunlight can be affected by refraction in the atmosphere. What?
some really weird cloud cover going on. But there is footage of this all over the web, people. All over the world, all over the web. And it's just weird, This is our sun we're talking about. And of course, you guys are fully aware of what, the Bible and Revelation prophecy says about the sun.
Exactly.
I mean, whoa, it's just freaky. And I think that this is not a natural phenomenon. This is absolutely being engineered. I don't know how. I don't even purport to know how. I understand quite a bit about electronics and
Miss Quilanius, thanks for 13 months.
plasma and stuff like that. But this is way out of my league, but it just scares the hell out of me. So let's continue.
They've always taught me that, in the days of Noah, the world was destroyed by a flood, and then in the last days, the world will be destroyed by fire. So, I wonder about how much of that fire is man-made.
Yeah, exactly. Let's continue.
Bible is the only source of wisdom on the bingo card? Or the only reliable source, whatever it is. I don't remember the exact wording. Astrofox says, that was indeed an eclipse. It's called an annular eclipse. It happens when the moon is slightly closer to the Earth, or it's on... Wait. When the moon is slightly closer to Earth on its, or it while the eclipse happens, so a little bit of the sun is still visible around the edges of the moon.
I'll do it.
This one's weak even by normal flat earther standards. It's just cloudy. It's a thick cloud, I agree. Everything's super overcast, but that's weather?
In English also, it's the apocalypse in Paris, so if you're a tourist, don't come. Don't come. We don't know what the fuck is going on, but it's like the city is burning down, but there's no fires. It's really weird. It's 40 degrees so really bizarre, my man.
Tucker White says, I'll admit that global warming being a byproduct of CERN is more sexy than simply capitalist ghouls pumping more and more CO2 into the atmosphere, but how do you come to this wild of a conclusion? I don't know. Wanting to feel smart, but not having the capacity to actually achieve things? I don't know.
Hey, pray for me, guys. In case you don't hear from me, then I suffocated. Take care.
Let's take a closer look at the temperature anomalies in Europe over the past 40 years and see if there's a connection with CERN. This data suggests that a plasmoid, like our sun, can be affected by a series of large, superconducting, dipole magnets. Further study is urgently needed. A reassessment of the sun's size and distance from Earth is also required.
So on the one hand, we could look at accepted science and the absolute ridiculous mountain of research that shows that human-caused climate change is a result of over a century of pumping greenhouse gases into the atmosphere. Or we could completely upend every other field of study and ignore all evidence and say that the sun is actually much closer and smaller than we thought, and that the Earth is flat. Now, I'm not a philosopher, but I feel like Occam's razor might apply here. Chromatic Cuttlefish says, finding new ways to scam donations from your gullible followers, mostly. Carney with 100 bits says, no, 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 no.
Yeah, now, I have to admit...
It's weird, too, because the graphic on the right isn't even centered, around exactly where CERN is. The hottest parts in the thing on the right aren't where CERN is. So they're not even doing the correlation causation thing correctly. Doesn't understand or confuses correlation and causation on the bingo card, or conflates them.
That you know, these heat waves and these fires, to me, it's pretty clear, especially when you look at some of the footage that has been captured from Northern California, that this is being done, you know, a lot of this is being done by laser systems that are being shot down by either aircraft, well, probably by aircraft.
He's just positing lasers that don't exist.
Because when you look at the laser precision, right, that these fires are burning in, it's insane, people.
He's unironically doing the space laser thing. He thinks that someone's burning things down with a space laser.
So just like they can do all these asteroids and everything, you can keep track of exactly where they are. It's not difficult to imagine that they've got a master computer where they actually send these crafts into. They don't really send them there, but I'm saying if you built a satellite or whatever, you're going to build something that's going to go to Juno and take a picture. You build it, they launch it, goes out into the ocean, and then they put a fake Juno that's crafted exactly like the one you really made. They put it into the simulation, and the simulation sends back data. And the person sitting at their computer, that's why all the pictures that we get of space look like computer-generated images, because they exist in here. Just like if I go down here and I want to see, let's say I want to see Ceres. Okay, well, they've got a computer-generated image of it. This is what they take a picture of. This is why planets look like this, because they're computer. It's a computer game.
Look at this. This is an aspen. You can tell that it's an aspen tree because of the way it is.
That's the entire universe is a computer game. That's why when Dr. James Gates started digging through the universe, he got to the bottom of it and said it was ones and zeros. Yeah, it's ones and zeros because the universe is ones and zeros. Just like if you dug to the bottom of this, guess what you'd find? Ones and zeros.
Flat earthers should almost be cheating. It's just, come on.
According to Wikipedia, a World's Fair is a large international exhibition designed to showcase achievements of nations. These exhibitions vary in character and are held in different parts of the world at a specific site for a period of time, ranging usually from 3 to 6 months. But what if that is just what we're being told in order to hide the true history of humanity and remove and reclaim the landmarks of an entire civilization that actually dwelled and thrived in these specific locations long ago?
I haven't watched Men in Black recently, but if I recall, the plot of the first Men in Black movie includes a World's Fair being held. Hydrate. So the plot of Men in Black includes the World's Fair in New York being held to disguise a UFO. So this is kind of like that.
Well, tonight on Conspiracy Theories and Chill, we're going to look at some of the early World's Fairs and see what, if anything, they have in common, what they might have really represented or even took place to hide, and whether we're being told the truth about these events at all. Let's start by looking at the world's first World Fair in 1851, which was by far the biggest event of the 19th century, and was held inside one...
What? I don't even know where to begin with this claim because it's such a weird one to even make. A lot of things happen in a century. I don't know. I don't know what to do with that. So we're just gonna move on.
one spectacular and historically out-of-place building. The Crystal Palace that had sprung up in one of London's largest public spaces, glittering in the sun.
Thanks, Occult Comics. We got a new emote from Occult Comics. Let me... Here, enjoy Gina dancing while, while I grab it. Oh shit. We're getting a raid while I'm being... Okay, I gotta add this later. Shit. 1 second. I'm coming back. Don't leave yet. Where did it go? There we go. Hi, everyone. Thank you, Thought Slime. I appreciate the raid very much so. Hi, raiders. I'm Hannah. I'm a leftist streamer. I do a lot of debunking conspiracy theories, looking into them, and that's what we're doing today. We're looking at conspiracy theories and just weird shit about them. So, let's continue.
Sunlight. It was truly a sight to be.
Oh, we do have a conspiracy bingo card if you'd like. Normally we play for a gift sub, but today we're not. We're just playing for fun. So if you want to play bingo.
Behold, the first prefabricated building of its kind. The enormous glass house incorporated 300,000 sheets of glass in the...
This guy believes that the first World's Fair was held to hide the existence of a secret ancient civilization that we stole everything from. Tucker White says, for you newcomers, time to learn some Hannah's deep, dark secrets. Oh god, it's the VTuber clip.
Largest size then ever made. Held in position with some 24 miles of patent guttering. In just 9 months, this magnificent building had become a shining landmark on the capital's skyline. The completed building was a sight to behold. 562 meters long, 124 meters wide, and towering 30 meters high over Hyde Park. That's about 10 stories high. Most importantly, this colossal feat of engineering was finished on time. This amazing structure was supposedly built in 9 months with 19th century technology. And you could tell me it took 3 times as long to construct, and I'd still give you heavy side-eye.
I mean, when you have unlimited funds to throw at something, it's not... I don't want to say it's not difficult, but when you're the government and you can, like, throw as much money as you want, not to mention we're talking about the UK in the 1850s. They had the money to throw at things. Chromatic Cuttlefish says, London 1851 was the Great Exhibition, not a World's Fair, but perish the thought of a conspiracy loon should bother with a fact. And Tucker White says, this building also gave birth to a mediocre soccer team.
Just look at the intricacy and detail, and then imagine this being done with 19th century technology and horses and buggies. How did they...
I don't know if this guy knows this, but because you ride a horse, it doesn't make you dumb.
Manufacture, move, and assemble this structure at all, much less in just 9 short months.
That's why it's impressive. That's why it's at the World's Fair. They're going, look at the thing we can do. They're effectively... you guys, in Civilization, you know how you can win using different things? You can, like, build military might, or you could be, like, a scientific technology civilization, or you can be, like, a culture civilization. This is kind of like that. You're trying to win culturally. You're projecting power through the things you can do that are impressive. This is an incredibly old tactic. Like, every civilization does this to one extent or another. It's a flex, basically, yeah.
What if they didn't? What if it was actually always there? What if the World's Fairs were used as an excuse to demolish ancient architectural heritage left over from a hidden advanced society? These World's Fairs are famous for unexplained out-of-time architecture. These massive structures are all said to have been built rapidly for the purpose of these World's Fairs and then demolished afterwards. Why would they do that? Why?
Because they had a purpose for the building? I don't know, did they demolish it right after? I'd agree that sounds like a waste, but I'm not 1850s UK government, so I don't know what they were thinking.
Create such beautiful buildings just to demolish them. And what inspired these creations that all seem to come from the same society, style, and time period?
No, they don't. The stuff that you people say that, like, for the record, he's talking about, like, Tartarian conspiracy theories, mud flood, believing that there are secret ancient civilizations and that, like, we can't build classical or, like, Baroque architecture for some reason. We can. Styles just change. But either way, it seems like he's lumping in everything not modern into one aesthetic.
For more comparison, let's move ahead a bit in time to the World's Fair of 1893 in Chicago. You were told that the city of Chicago once held the World's Columbian Exhibition to publicly celebrate Columbus discovering America. The year of it was 1893.
Thank
and
you,
the great
followers.
economic
Appreciate
panic
it.
was already underway.
I know we got some new ones
But
from the
some
raid.
27 million people, a number equal to half of the entire United States population at the time, is said to have arrived from around the world to behold 200 newly erected buildings on 600 acres of reclaimed swamp, all of which had come to fruition within 2 years of its initial planning.
The Crystal Palace burnt down, did it?
All
Interesting.
of this great white city was said to be built in just 2 years. The official story is that the Great White City was built akin to a movie set. Facades were made not of stone, we are told, but a mixture of plaster, cement, and a jute fiber called staff.
I mean, that makes sense. The entire point of this entire event is basically a dick measuring contest. You don't need it to actually last, you just need it to look nice for the tourists. You just need people to show up and go, wow, they have a lot of money and culture and blah 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 blah. And then you can tear it down. It's like the McMansion of cultural achievements. Tucker White says, it's not always the government taking down these World's Fair structures, and there's a link.
This place.
Used for wig storage. I've seen that episode.
All of which was then painted white in order...
So it burned down in 1936. Okay, so it wasn't even demolished. This is what annoys me the most about conspiracy theorists, right? Like, I can deal with claims that are false, or I can deal with, like, false hypotheses from conspiracy theorists all day. I find that fun. But when they straight up lie, it's hard to even parse the lies. They just say shit that isn't true.
In order to give the Chicagoan Camelot its gleam. Apparently, 27 million people were said to have braved the frontier by boat, buggy, and train to converge upon Chicago in order to be wowed by a neoclassical city built of glue and popsicle sticks that was only made to look like the real thing. And we are expected to believe that developers and exhibitors spent...
I mean, I don't think the people who went and visited knew that it was facade, right? And even if they did, frankly, if I go to Disney World, I don't care that Main Street's a facade. It's a theme park. It's a fun thing to do. Like, does it matter? I don't know. But I don't think that the people who went necessarily knew that a lot of this was, like, facade, looked nicer than it actually was. Because that's the point. It's not like they had internet back in the day, you know? They had access to only the information they had. Mostly it was just, what do you see? Oh, it looks like classical architecture, so it must be built like classical architecture. kind of the same thing this guy's doing now, accidentally. H. Baird says the Museum of Science and Industry in Chicago was originally built for the Columbian Exposition and is still standing. Also, this was a decade after the Great Chicago Fire, so cleared land was easier to get.
2 years building and millions upon millions of dollars investing in, which they would then just turn around and destroy.
No one tell this guy about the Olympics.
And there are absolutely no blueprints for the White City's construction, and documentation on the construction is thin. Except for a few rinky-dink shacks resembling put-up props, it doesn't seem that anything was really built here at all. And then they just destroyed it?
What was it called again? World's Fair White City being built? Can I find pictures of it being built? Of course, most of the pictures are gonna be from then. I hate when people from the 1800s and 1900s don't take pictures specifically so I can debunk idiots on the internet in the 2020s. It's just inconsiderate, if I'm being honest.
Now let's look at the World's Fair.
Chromatic Cuttlefish says, I literally have a reference book all about constructing the Chicago World's Fair site. This guy's a tool.
1878, held in Paris, France. Just look at these buildings, the detail of them, the size, and how out of place in time they seem.
They don't seem that out of place to me. They look like people trying to be impressive. Like, I don't get what his deal is. So much of all the like mud flood conspiracy theories come down to, but look at this thing. Isn't it just sus? It's not sus. You're sus. Tucker White says Paris, France, just in case you mistook it for Paris, Tennessee.
Again, most of these structures were said to be built in impossibly short amounts of time, and money seemed to be no issue or concern. And again, you're seeing the same architectural and landscaping styles used. These World's Fair buildings...
Neoclassical... I've talked about this before too, and I don't know why conspiracy theorists don't understand this. Neoclassical architecture is a way to try and connect you and your civilization to what is historically considered one of the longest and most successful empires of all time. It's you going, look, we're Rome. It's like we're Rome. Look at how Roman we are. It's not complicated.
all seem to share many characteristics. Fortunes were said to have been spent constructing all of this just for the fair, just to display it for a short time, and then demolish it. Now let's go ahead a little further to the U.S. In April 1904. St. Louis, Missouri opened its doors to the world for what was officially called the Louisiana Purchase Exposition, but was widely known as the St. Louis World's Fair. Millions of dollars had again been spent to build the 1,200-acre fairgrounds and its nearly 1,500 buildings, a huge scale that ended up delaying the opening by a year. During the 8 months the fair stayed open, it said that...
So the other one being done on time was evidence that it's fake. But this one was finished late, but it's also fake. Don't know how that works.
Nearly 20 million people paid a visit. Now on display were marvels of technology, agriculture, art, and history. And
is this the one that had like electric lights?
There were amusement rides and entertainment to be found in a section called the Pipe. The fair introduced a huge audience to some relatively new inventions, which was common of these fairs, such as private automobiles, outdoor electric lighting, and the X-ray machine. And again, after the fair closed, nearly all of its structures were demolished within a short period of time.
I would agree that that's wasteful. I assume they built them to be impressive again and not to last.
All of these impressive structures built for one event in the middle of the country? Why? Why build these beautiful structures complete inside and out? You could go into these buildings. They were real buildings. Why go to all of that trouble? Just look at the intricacy and detail of these structures. Consider then the time periods that we are discussing and the means that they would have had to construct them at the time. Not to mention the massive expense. $1 million back then is like saying billions today. Why would so much money be invested into...
$1 billion for a government is not that much money. Like, I get it. It's still a lot of money, but if we're talking, like, on the national or even state level, billions of dollars is not that much. Again, I get it. Objectively, it's a lot, but governments, at least stuff like the United States government, deals in money in terms of trillions, not billions.
Such extravagance just to demolish it afterwards.
And humans can barely comprehend billions, much less trillions.
Nearly every instance.
Are they amazing feats of architecture or cheap facades? It's both. It's rhetorical shifting at its finest. It's the #1 tool in a lot of conspiracy theory playbooks. Also, in fascist playbooks, there's a reason they hang out together. Also, probably the same reason Peter Parker and Spider-Man hang out together, but, you know, you get it. Dr. Gamble says, please tell me there's a parody video of these guys where it's them trying to debunk those massive Lego models of famous landmarks. I can't say I've seen one of those now.
These buildings are pieces of art. They are breathtaking, to say the least. All the way back to the very first World's Fair so far, they share this particular trait of unexplained and seemingly out of time and place structures.
That's the point.
And in all instances, these beautifully detailed pieces of art were destroyed soon after the fairs ended. But why do these structures from different places and time periods seem to match each other so closely? Is it possible that all these different World's Fairs architecture seems to match each other for a particular reason?
Yes, the reason is they're all kind of echoing the same idea. They all function for the same purpose, and that purpose is to look ostentatious and impressive. It's the state-level version of conspicuous consumption. It's saying to people, look at how powerful we are. Look at our culture. Tucker White says, this was also at the height of the Gilded Age, which gave us some of the most unmatched decadence in human history. Dirt Juror says, is the lack of compensation of the number why billionaires seem to, is the lack of comprehension of the number why billionaires seem to think they don't have enough? Any commentary I give on that's going to be trite, and it's going to be stuff people have said before. I think it's an addiction issue. I think there are people who are addicted to the acquisition of wealth. Atheist Brony, thanks for 20 months at Tier 2.
What if these structures were already there, and these early world fairs were to explain these unexplainable and amazing pieces of architecture to the masses, and at the same time erase the existence of a previous advanced civilization?
What would be the point? Also, this is contrary to a lot of other mud flood people who think that they're actively people living in buildings of ancient civilizations. So what? Are they erasing them and trying to destroy them, or are we living in them? Which is it? Tucker White says, also humans are lazy fucks, especially in architecture, where when a trend gets popular, virtually everyone follows. I would say calling architecture lazy to be the opposite of the reality of the situation. I would say trends in architecture get followed because that's how trends in all art forms go. And if we're talking about design elements, people don't just use arches because they're trendy. They use arches because they're structurally sound.
What if all these structures and the out-of-place structures that match these that stand to this day, what if all of these were already here? What if the World's Fairs were really held to explain away true human history in order to rewrite their own? To believe that these were all just put together as events and that such extravagance and money was just thrown around to make the impossible real is just insanity in my opinion.
Has he paid attention to literally anything ever? Elon Musk put a car in space as an advertisement for a car company. And the rocket company. It's corporate synergy. Ugh. Thanks, Cult Comics. I did get them. I just have to upload them. I appreciate it.
No, I think it's much more likely that these structures already existed long before we settled in these lands, from a civilization who...
That building is made entirely of glass. Do you think all the glass survived and looked great? Like, how do you think that worked? It's ancient glass that none of it broke? Socialist Audiophile, thanks for gifting us up.
whose history is being hidden from us. This has been a look into the truth of the early World's Fairs from Conspiracy Theories and Chill, and I'm sure we will be revisiting this topic very soon. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon with a brand new topic. It was practical.
I've stated many times over the years, with all the lies, they give us the truth in plain sight. With this one episode of Sesame Street, where there's a lot of programming when it comes to the Ball Earth and NASA, as you see here. You have Buzz Aldrin, of course, from the Apollo 11 mission. Sesame Street.
That has gotta be an old episode, because Buzz Aldrin is older than that. Tucker White says, newsflash, sir, the Sun Sphere didn't replace a monument to an ancient civilization. It replaced a rail yard that the Louisville and Nashville Railroad abandoned long ago.
Talking about supposedly landing on the moon. But again, getting back here to the opposite end, the opposite spectrum, you have this teacher pointing at a globe, which is right next to a space rocket, and it says fiction right below both of them. And definitely, this is truth in plain sight. No doubt about it. And let's play the actual clip.
H-Baird says, I'm still mad at Elon for not putting a teapot in the car so we could solve this once and for all. Points for Bertrand Russell joke. I get it.
Alright, Grover, this is the...
Wait, is that the right person? Bertrand Russell? Russell's teapot? Yes, I think.
The fiction section.
This is Russian vids, yes.
Fiction means it's a made-up story. Oh, hey, Elmo, I bet we can find your Galactic Gale comic book here. This is the fiction section. Fiction means it's a made-up story.
And again, there's the clip that was just played, and she's pointing right at the globe. And it reminds me of this globe that I saw at a retail store, and I knew about this before even looking at the bottom.
Overthought says Snuffleupagus isn't depressed, he's just been drugged so he doesn't reveal the truth. Atheist Brony says, so many space conspiracy theorists, but Buzz Aldrin only has 2 fists. So sad. He did punch the one guy once. You guys have seen Buzz Aldrin punch that guy, right? There was a moon landing conspiracy theorist. Why can't I see it? Where is it? Did they take it off YouTube? Those fuckers. There he is. This guy was like a moon landing denier, and Buzz Aldrin punched him in the face because he was harassing him.
Why don't you swear on the Bible that you walked on the moon?
It doesn't, sir, I don't have nothing to do with this, but you cannot solicit on this property.
We just paid to rent out the penthouse to shoot up there. So,
you can't solicit to my man.
Calling the kettle black, if I ever thought of it. Saying I misrepresented myself.
Away from me.
You're a coward and a liar and a thief.
Tucker White says, sometimes I wonder if the writers of these shows ever intentionally do something like that globe above fiction sign just to troll these dumb fucks. And Aldra says, and that's why the astronauts are national heroes.
Where when you look at the bottom itself, it states globes are not meant for educational purpose, but only decorative purpose.
That's a decorative globe, you idiot! The globe you buy at Walmart with that on it says it because it's a decorative globe. Okay, let me give you an example. So, this is a decorative globe that I have similarly. Picked it up at a thrift shop at some point. It's fun. I like it. But it's also a decorative globe. So this globe is not to scale. The distances probably aren't right, but it's a rough depiction of the Earth, right? It's just to look at because it's cool. To give a vibe. It's an aesthetic. It's not here to chart things, right? But educational globes, on the other hand, that you can buy at like teaching supply stores or on Amazon or whatever, they'll say on them they're teaching globes. Those generally do tell you accurate information, at least whatever those particular globes are like made to do. So that's why this one says that, because this is a decorative globe. They're different things. Astro Fox says, not only did he harass him, he lies to Buzz Aldrin, made him think he was flying in to speak to children about space, only to harass him at the hotel. Dude was an asshole. Yeah.
And they always leave the truth in plain sight for all to see. And as far as, again, when it comes to the rocket ship, people say, but I've seen rockets take off, so I know they're real. The issue is not if rockets take off. It's if they actually go into outer space, of course, and they do not. And here's a prime example of that with this so-called rocket launch into deep space by SpaceX off the coast of Florida on Cocoa Beach. I sped up the footage a bit just for the sake of saving some time. And you can definitely see...
I think I've been to Cocoa Beach.
...that this so-called space rocket does not go into outer space. It basically flies parallel to this level Earth that we live on.
Anyone who's played Kerbal Space Program knows when you're trying to get into orbit, it's a lot easier and better on your fuel to take off and then do this and kind of diagonally leave than it is to go straight up. It wastes so much fuel trying to go straight up. It's much easier to like gradually...
And it comes straight back down. And this is the problem with society that believes in this nonsense of space travel.
Yeah, it's an orbital mechanics thing. I'm really bad at Kerbal Space Program, by the way. I'm excited for the sequel, but like...
They have a brain. They cannot use it. They have eyes. The eyes do not work. They'll make every excuse to fit the narrative that they're told that SpaceX, head by Elon Musk, actually goes in outer space. And you can clearly see objectively that this so-called space rocket is coming straight down. This is not a low Earth orbit like we're told. And again, people's eyes, they are useless. Their brain does not work. And you cannot see the obvious with these so-called space rockets that do not go into space. Basically, just an expensive bottle rocket. And the reason for the SpaceX and the past NASA space shuttle launches off the Florida coastline is basically these rockets and space shuttles end up in the Bermuda Triangle. This is the reason why they have the bad stigma with the Bermuda Triangle, so people don't look any further, as I showed in a previous video with this one album.
The Bermuda Triangle thing is such bullshit. Do you know why most ships that go missing in that, you know why a lot of ships and stuff go missing there? Because it's the most traveled area on that side, like, of the ocean. It's heavily trafficked. That's why so many people go missing there. It's just statistically how it works. Secondly, the reason they take off from Florida is because the ocean is there. It's because if they can launch over the ocean, it's less dangerous. If they were to launch, like, in Kansas and fly the rocket overpopulated areas, then if something went wrong and it crashed or blew up and like debris went everywhere, it could hurt people. So the entire point of going off of Florida is to keep things off of the thing. KBS says, I have a globe of Barsoom. It better say not for educational purposes somewhere. Barsoom, I don't know what that means.
Cover for the band Bermuda Triangle. It's called The Missing Tapes. And this is mockery in plain sight. And also too from DC Comics, where they show the Bermuda Triangle map. In one area spotlighted, it says Secret Freemason Shadow Government Headquarters. And let's get...
That would be what we call in the comics industry a joke. That would be called a joke.
Get a little bit of a close-up of that. And this...
I would imagine Atlantis is probably also on that map if it's a map of the DC universe, because again, Atlantis exists in the DC universe along with Batman and Superman.
This is from DC Comics X-Men number 4.
Whoa, 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 no, 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 no. Okay, hold on. No.
Close-up of that. And this is from DC Comics X-Men number 4.
All right. I'm mad now. Now I'm mad. DC Comics does not publish X-Men. DC Comics publishes Superman. Marvel publishes X-Men and Iron Man and stuff. You know, I was willing to hear him out, but now I think he might be an idiot. Tucker White says, the missing tapes refer to the master tapes NASA had of the Apollo 11 moon landings. It was lost because of the limitations of technology at the time. KBS with 100 bits says, Barsoom is the Mars of John Carter, Warlord of Mars. Gotcha.
And just take a look here at the map itself. And again, Bermuda Triangle. And let's get a little bit better of a close-up. And there you see Secret Freemason Shadow Government Headquarters within the Bermuda Triangle. And again, getting back to Shadow Government Headquarters within the Bermuda Triangle.
I wanted to read what else was here. The Bermuda Triangle coughs up myths like a consumptive asthmatic. Missing vessels are blamed on aliens, Atlantis, the rifts, ghost ships, magnetic anomalies, methane eruptions. So, within this same comic book page that he is using to decide that, again, the Shadow Freemason thing is real, also includes sea monsters, underwater pyramids, Amelia Earhart's, underwater cities, and my personal favorite, Kingdom of the Lost Mare Corgis. And the image is of corgi puppies, but with mermaid tails. So does this guy also believe that there are mer corgis? Because he's using this page to say that Freemason shadow governments exist. So do mer corgis exist? Aldera says, Barsoom was written by the author of Conan. He also wrote about Lemuria and Hyperborea, but he didn't think it was real.
And again, getting back to the still shot that I have here.
Amelia Earhart disappeared over the Pacific. That's what makes it even more impressive. Chromatic Cuttlefish says, speaking as a maritime mollusk, or a marine mollusk, I am offended. Also, Amelia Earhart disappeared in the Pacific, not the Atlantic. Again, that's why it's impressive.
When it comes to Sesame,
she got real lost.
Straight talking about fiction with space rockets and the fake phony baller. They're always giving us the truth in plain sight. And you see all the goons here with Mickey and Minnie Mouse. And for those that watched my previous video from a few years back, and I showed this clip here with the four supposedly aboard the ISS, and the one female pointing at her hair, and obviously this is hairspray. And I'll play that clip.
You look like...
That's not how hairspray works. How short is this guy's hair? You can tell that a lot of flat earthers have never had long hair when they make claims about, like, this lady's hair, or any woman's hair, or anyone with long hair. Typically in these videos it's women on the space station or whatever with long hair, and they'll make claims like, that's hairspray, or that doesn't move like whatever, and it's clear they've never had long hair in their lives. Overthought says, what does he think a seahorse is? I don't know.
Like you're in a studio, maybe in Omaha, Nebraska or something. The shot is so clear. Is this a hoax? Are you really in space still?
See the hair?
I don't know. We're going to have to do something for you.
Yeah.
I
want to do it. I know.
Oh, yeah, I can do that. Watch this. Can everybody float around for us? That was really cool, Chris. Look at her.
That is so cool.
Look at her.
That is so cool.
I think Sandy's hair is pretty much a dead giveaway.
And definitely mocking when he says Sandy's hair's a dead giveaway. But again, the connection when it comes to NASA and not only Sesame Street, but like I just showed with Walt Disney, as you see here. Here's Walt Disney.
I mean, the Disney company owns the Muppets now anyway, so.
With Werner von Braun.
How does that work? Because HBO is a partnership to make Sesame Street, but Disney owns the Muppets. They're all Jim Henson creations, but are they different intellectual property? I guess I always assumed that Sesame Street was part of the Muppet Workshop. I don't know.
Braun, of course, the head of rocketry.
Sesame Street and Muppets are separate IPs. They just cross over a lot, I guess.
When it comes to NASA going back.
Because, like, at one point, really early on, I think Kermit was on Sesame Street for some period of time.
Back from the inception. And just another connection, many know about this. When it comes to Walt Disney's Pluto character and the outline on the actual so-called planet Pluto. So this is mockery. Pluto the dog on Pluto the planet. And again, it's just a...
Your pareidolia isn't the responsibility of the Walt Disney Corporation.
Big game to the people that run this world, that are controlling things from behind the scenes, that are controlling all of TV. They control NASA, they control Sesame Street, they control it all. TV is nothing but a box of lies and just more mockery, just for sake of it here, showing these Russians aboard the ISS. And take a look here. What do you see here? They're always giving us Easter eggs in plain sight, and one of them is the orange on the table. What happened to this anti-gravity? No gravity.
It's not anti-gravity, it's microgravity. Like, if nothing nudges that, it'll be fine. You could set things somewhere, and if it's like, if there's no, like, if nothing pushes it, has this person not heard of inertia, is basically what I'm trying to say. Like, if you were able to set that there, and keep it, and get your hand off, it would stay there, unless there was, like, a sudden shift in, like, where the craft is going. Like, you're all sharing the same, like, inertia.
And everybody's floating around, but the orange is on the table. And I found this interesting as well. More Easter eggs in plain sight with Yuri Gagarin, as you can see here. And of course, this is the Russian alphabet, but in English, the CC for 33. So again, you have your 33 coded in plain sight. The
CC here, Chris, Westchester County.
Orange on the table as a form of mock.
Inertial frame of reference, thank you.
3. Now getting back to Buzz Aldrin, as I shown earlier.
Why would shadow governments drop hints for some reason? Why would they even do that? Conspiracy theorists, if they're the kind that believes in Satanism, and unfortunately a lot of those people who are conspiracy theorists today are, they tend to think it as some weird and vague satanic thing, like either satanic or demonic, or like a cult. These things mean different things, but to them they all mean the same thing. Basically a vague thing where they have to, like, mock people as part of gaining their power or something. It's fucking nonsense. It's basically just a way for people to narratively justify why they're smarter than everyone else.
I found this pretty...
They see the secrets in plain sight. Makes him feel like a main character from a movie.
Hilarious with his appearance on Sesame Street. Let's take a look here and take a listen to dialogue here. Absolutely hilarious, the dialogue with Cookie Monster. Take a listen.
I've got a friend I'd like you to meet. He can tell you all about the moon. Yeah, what, like your friend been there or something? I explored.
Just absolutely hilarious. Let's continue on.
I explored space, and once I rode in a great big rocket and landed right up there on the moon. You've got to be kidding me.
laughter's pretty funny there. You've got to be kidding me.
Let's continue on once again, and it gets to be pretty interesting here.
Piece of the moon. Oh, yeah.
Now, I covered this aspect many years ago from NBC News on their official website, where basically NASA supposedly gave a moon rock to the Netherlands. And the hilarious part is the Dutch National Museum, they actually took a look at the supposed moon
Yeah, I think this is the petrified wood one, right?
rock, and they found out it was a fake. That it was just petrified wood.
I just want to know who in the process stole a moon rock, because at some point someone clearly stole a moon rock and replaced it with petrified wood. And I want to know who did it, and if they were able to do anything with the moon rock.
And that is absolutely hilarious. So, that's the foundation. You know, when...
Does he think this moon rock is the only moon rock? No, it's notable and newsworthy because this is the one moon rock that they found that wasn't that. The rest of them are actual moon rocks. H-Baird says, how much you want to bet that Cookie Monster has fallen into QAnon?
Obviously, they never been to the moon, and that's the foundation of that lie. So after that lie, the lies just continue, with the supposed moon rock being nothing more than petrified wood. And the official Moon Rock Museum is just petrified wood. The Dutch National Museum said Thursday that one of its prized possessions, a rock supposedly brought back from the moon by U.S. astronauts, is just a piece of petrified wood. And the definite problem with telling a lie is you can't keep your lie straight. And take a listen to what Buzz Aldrin says here regarding stars.
Dirtjar says, Gunther, this is our prized secret family heirloom. You must never tell anyone. That'd be awesome, honestly, if I had like a family secret like that where like, this is a moon rock, we stole it 80 years ago. I think that was hilarious. P-Mail says, it takes a real skeptic to dig deep into Sesame Street.
The stars all around are even brighter than they are here.
Now let's take a look at this infamous clip, the press conference with the NASA astronauts after supposedly arriving back to Earth, and they were...
Occult Comic says, I gotta defend my boy. Cookie Monster would never. Cookie Monster is a very good monster, and it is canonical that he unhinged his jaw like a snake and ate 7 to 10 January 6th insurrectionists.
Asked about stars, seeing stars from the moon's surface.
Possibly the most embarrassing moment of all comes when the famous astronomer and journalist Sir Patrick Moore asks the astronauts whether they could see stars from the moon.
When you looked up at the sky, could you actually see the stars and the solar corona in spite of the glare?
But not one of them, surprisingly, remembers having seen a single star by the naked eye.
We were never able to see stars from the lunar surface or on the daylight side of the moon by eye without looking through the optics.
Yeah, he's saying on the surface of the moon. On Sesame Street, he was saying he was in space where he could see stars better. The surface of the moon is bright. It's day on the moon where they were. Like, it's similar to the question where they're like, why in these pictures of the moon's surface can't we see stars? Again, cameras have this thing, exposure, where it determines how much light is actually let into the aperture of the camera. And if you expose it for the surface of the moon so the surface and the people on it look normal, the light levels it's taking in are too low to take in the light of the stars in the sky. Your eye, similarly, has pupils that like dilate and stuff, and if there's so much light coming from the surface of the moon and it's like daytime, you're not going to see the stars.
Even Collins, who was left orbiting the moon while the other two descended on the surface, does not remember seeing a single star.
I don't remember seeing any.
And there you go. And this very infamous clip as well when it comes to this 8-year-old girl, Zoe, asking Buzz Aldrin.
This one frustrates me because it's like the most obvious example of an old man just kind of misspeaking while trying to talk to a kid, and every flat earther points to this and is like, haha, we got him, and it's like, no, you don't.
Aldrin, why haven't they gone back to the moon in a long time? And this is something, you put this on CNN, you put this on Fox News, and people would question the official narrative of the so-called moon landing. But of course, you'll never see this on mainstream media because definitely it would have a major impact on the minds of the masses after hearing this clip. Take a listen.
Why has nobody been to the moon in such a long time?
That's not an 8-year-old's question. That's my question. I want to know, but I think I know. Because we didn't go there, and that's the way it happened.
And again, imagine playing this clip on CNN or Fox News, BBC, and of course you'll never see that being played on national or international TV. It would have too much of an impact. So again, when you watch
Is he not going to show the rest of the clip? That's misleading.
It's just propaganda, and the real information is being filtered out. So people come to a conclusion based on only the...
Basically, Buzz goes to go on to say that there's not political will to do it and that we should. Is it?
Information that they're fed, of course. And getting back to this one still from Sesame Street and the fiction with the ball Earth and the so-called space rocket, that gets us back to, which I played this clip many years ago as well, when it comes to William Shatner, who of course was the captain of the Starship Enterprise back with the original Star Trek series. And with this official NASA video footage that was released, basically mocking what NASA does, calling it science fiction. Let's take a listen.
9 minutes later, the signal. I mean, it's...
Why would he not normalize the audio on these clips? Lily Love Stuff, thanks for 23 months, says 23 months, yay.
It's science fiction. Shadows that cross in front of...
I swear to God, Shatner's going to be the last member of the Enterprise crew standing, because the world is cruel.
A star that suggests there's a point.
That's how I think I know there's no God. Is Shatner lasted longer than Nimoy. We are truly in a senseless universe.
And it's big enough planet to be the size of the emblem.
Thanks, Occult Comics.
Of the Earth.
Chromatic Cuttlefish says, the star thing drives me round the bend. Part of the backup procedure for calibrating the internal platform on the Apollo command module is flight used an optical sextant to measure frickin' star angles. Oh.
Is it possible that life exists?
I can't hear this part, so I'm just going to skip it.
For those that seek it, and definitely they're putting it out there in plain sight for all to see.
Well, that was really fucking loud. Sorry about that. RV Truth. Taking a close look at puppet-based shows for children, so the rest of us don't have to. Yep, they live on the bingo.
All right, welcome back, everybody, and just Conspiracy Theories and Chill. I'm Sean, and that video was on the truth about the world's fairs. And what I was hoping to talk to you guys tonight is some of these structures that make no sense unless we have thousands of years of hidden history that is being wiped away by the lies that were being told behind these structures. The one on the screen right now is my Capitol building. This is the Capitol building in Jefferson City, Missouri. This is said to have been built in 1840 with just horses and buggies and simple tools. How? How did they do this then?
Masonry, and not the conspiracy kind, the literal bricklaying, like building buildings kind.
How is that even possible?
And it was also Missouri in the 1870s, or 1850s, so... yeah, probably some slave labor.
How did they get that dome up there?
How did they get that dome up there? That's actually, they start at the dome and they build downwards. It's much more efficient.
You should see it in person. I'm sure your Capitol building is very similar. This one looks very similar to the U.S. Capitol. And there's similar buildings to that all over this country.
P-Meal with 200 bits says they had such craftsmanship back then, I can't see a single horse or buggy in that stonework.
And there's similar architecture all over the world.
Yeah, they're the same style of architecture. Like,
it's typically called...
They're the same style. I think in Lansing, in Michigan, that's the capital of Michigan, the capital similarly has that, like, neoclassical architecture style. Like, American governmental buildings often have that style. Like I said before, it's to go, look, aren't we so Roman?
Called Roman architecture, but it's found everywhere. These buildings make no sense. The construction makes no sense. The time in which they say they were built makes no sense. And they don't fit in with their surroundings.
They're supposed to... The point? They're like impressive buildings. That's the point. That guy just took a big hit of a joint. That was not a cigarette inhale. That was he's on the wacky tobacco inhale, okay? Did you hear that?
Yes. Most of these structures have giant doors, huge ceilings, extremely large entryways. Now, you could call that a design style, or maybe it was practical. Maybe it had a reason and a purpose. You know, giants are said to have walked this earth. And maybe these structures were built so that they could enter them.
I don't think you need another hit. Maybe stop taking hits. I think you're good. I think you've had enough. Bumble Homestead with 100 bits says it's called Mexican food, but it's found everywhere. Oh, no, I want Mexican food.
There is a ton out there that has no answers. And these structures are part of that. Many of them are built by masons. They all have cornerstones, especially these. Any of the
cornerstones are an incredibly common, like, thing. What?
These in the United States, including Washington, D.C., have mason cornerstones, but they're built...
Boy, it's almost like people who built it were probably Freemasons in the literal sense, and that they were part of a trade guild that then later morphed into the modern Freemasons, which are now basically a gentleman's group. It's like a fraternity for people who aren't in college.
The U.S. Capitol was built in 1829. In 1829, they built the United States Capitol.
KBS 666 with 100 bits says this building is from 1913, not 1830s. There's a lot of photos. Google is your friend. In fairness, you're probably sober, and he is clearly high, so you have that benefit. P-Meal says, we stand on the shoulders of giants. We always thought it was a metaphor. We were wrong.
Really?
Do Americans even learn of trade guilds? I didn't as a kid very much. Like, I vaguely knew of their existence, but I don't think we learned much about them.
How? With what? How could they possibly have done that? Look at these buildings. They are so extravagant. Now look at anything else from 1829. They don't match. They don't match today. We wouldn't even do something like this today, and I don't know that we could.
If you were building like a state capitol, you probably would. If you were doing a building that fit this architecture style, you absolutely would.
I'm sure that there's some people that could do this, but it would be specialty work, and it would take them 50 years probably.
Well, it wouldn't take them 50 years, but it would take a long time, and I'm sure companies that, like, make buildings like this nowadays, which probably are pretty rare, basically your only clients are going to be either governments or really rich assholes building some kind of fucking McMansion for themselves. Like, yeah, it's going to be expensive. I'm sure it is specialty work, but people do it.
costly to construct something like this, even with our equipment. You may have seen the opening video, because the opening video was one of our videos, but you haven't seen this part because this part is live. We're on here having a conversation about hidden history, and because that's all that explains it. That is all that explains how these things can exist, because they couldn't have been built in the time that they say they were built by the people they say that built them. There's just no way. Absolutely not. Another one I want to show you guys is St. Peter's Basilica. This is said to have been constructed in 1626. I'll give you...
Like it was started or completed that year, because I assume it took a while to build.
all the time you need with that. This is just one example of how intricate and deep...
There are literally entire fields of historical and artistic study committed to learning about the artisans and the styles and, like, techniques of artisans who built buildings like this. And he's acting like it's a fucking mystery. Sir, there are people who spend their entire lives learning about how places like this were built. It's not a conspiracy. It's interesting historically. It's interesting culturally. But that's it. It's not magic.
Detailed this building is, and how impossible it would have been to have constructed it in 1600. Look at the size of it. And the dome, again, the domes. You find domes all over the world. Dome structures.
Man, it's almost like domes are like really, really architecturally sound in terms of, you know, holding a structure together. I bet eggs are a conspiracy too, because they're domed. Chromatic Cuttlefish says Lincoln's first inauguration photo with partially completed Capitol building. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. We did it! I assume they would say fake. I assume they would say fake.
The details in the dome. Look at that. There's absolutely no way that was built.
What's wild to me about this is it implies that this guy literally sits at his computer, gets baked as fuck, and looks at pictures of, like, old churches and buildings and goes, I don't know, man. Seems pretty sus to me, and he thinks that's research. Getting high in front of his computer and looking at things and being skeptical. That's not research.
In 1600. There's absolutely no way. How?
Look it up! You're in front of a computer! Like, this is the weird thing. This is the weird thing. He's in front of a computer. He could literally go... Look at all these videos on the history of St. Peter's Basilica. He's on a computer, the exact same device I am on right now. And there are videos and videos, and this is just videos. Videos take a lot of, like, time to put together. This isn't including, like, text websites and Wikipedia that he could go to, and sources for, like, primary source documents on the construction. He could find all this information in approximately 20 seconds, but instead he doesn't, because he doesn't want to know the answer. He wants to feel right. He wants to feel special and smart. So instead of typing it, he just looks at the screen and goes, no way. No way. How did they build this? How did they build this? Because that moment of him feeling like he's come across something makes him feel good. It's like he gets a dopamine hit in his head, right? And instead of actually investigating that thought to determine whether or not it's true, he just repeats it, and it's like he's chasing that high of feeling like he discovered something without actually looking into whether or not that feeling is justified. It's weird. Occult Comics, thanks for a link.
Light stone. Now let's get dome to business. Front tower, domes. Side entrance, domes. Dome, dome. Side domes, domes. Windows, wind dome. Doors, domes too. Windowception, also domes. Cross-sectional geometry, guess what? Dome. It's quite literally domes.
Top 5 domes. How nice.
How did they do that? Somebody's got to explain it to me, and somebody's got to explain why everything else from that time period would have been primitive.
In the 1600s, the church have all money and power except for king, so church build big church to look big and powerful to peasant.
Yet you have stuff like this existing. These impossible structures.
Like, imagine if I went up to, like... like, imagine if I went up to the One World Trade Center in New York City and I went, my house doesn't look like that! What? You can build this giant fucking skyscraper, but you can't build that on my property? You can't build me a house that's that tall? Resources go into different things depending on what they're used for.
And then you have things like obelisks, the Roman architecture, intricate detail in the structures, massive structures with huge, look at those entryways and hallways. Look how huge the doorways are. See those features all over the world. Oh yeah. Yes. So detailed. But so were the buildings that I showed you from the World's Fairs. They were detailed like that too. Very intricate buildings. Just works of art.
Rublum says, Hannah, this man has forgotten the greatest dome of all. The Dimsdale Dimmadome, owned by Doug Dimmadome. Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome. That Doug Dimmadome?
There is no way that was built with primitive tools. Every inch of that is art. I believe that there is a great deal of history being hidden.
Oh, is he drinking too? Was that an energy drink, or is he cross-fading?
I'm not alone in that belief.
I can't
Many
tell.
people actually believe that. There are a lot of popular theories.
At least these people believe in older megastructures without being racist about it, so progress. I guess. They're equal opportunity idiots.
On what this culture may have been called. You may have followed the Tartaria theory, or you may have heard of the mud flood theories of how this society was wiped out. These are all great theories, and I'm not discounting any of them. I think there's value in all of them. But I think what you're going to find, if you really look and trace all the histories together and analyze and compare the stories, you're going to find that a civilization was wiped out by the Great Flood.
It all comes down to believing Noah's Ark. Of course. Oopsie, wrong button.
This is what I believe took place. This wiped out the pre-flood world. These structures are from the pre-flood world. That's where these things came from. That's where these buildings came from. Pre-flood. There are flood stories in multiple cultures. Stories of a worldwide flood that wiped everything out.
Yeah, And a lot of cultures share a lot of similar stories. That doesn't necessarily mean those stories actually happened. I don't know if you know this, floods are pretty traumatic events, and it makes sense that stories of floods, and especially a great flood of some kind, would become pervasive amongst certain civilizations, especially those that border the sea. Like, I get it. It makes sense why different civilizations would have similar myths in regard to the fear of rising water if those civilizations have in the past faced generational trauma around having lives and possessions destroyed by floodwaters.
The deceivers, after the Great Flood, rewrote, or, well, not rewrote, but erased all existence before then.
Okay. I'm gonna skip to the Q&A section and see what he says, and then we'll move on.
Have active social lives and are very busy on Friday nights. Because even with going on later, I don't think it helps us really that much. Friday night, everybody is hopping.
Oh my god, so he was... I guess I don't know if that's like a jewel or like a tobacco thing or just a flavor thing or if it's weed, but so far it looked like he was maybe drinking, he was definitely smoking a joint, and it's possible that he's now doing a vape.
Yeah.
Which again, let me be clear, this guy's in his own house, you know, I'm not judging him for those things. I just find it hilarious that he's trying to do this show while potentially cross-faded, like he's high and drinking.
Aaron said it's called his story. We may never know the true past, mostly because the story is only being told by the victors. You're absolutely right.
That's not the etymology of
victors,
history.
We know that those are the evil cabal. They win every war. They are undefeated. They own everything. And that's the way of it. But I'm wondering how much time they're hiding from us. You know, what do you think? Jones says there's been multiple ice ages. I know, but I'm talking about in recorded history of humanity. The hidden history. There would be, I believe, tens of thousands of years that are just unknown. There's evidence for that. There's evidence of there being up to 50,000 years missing. The Sphinx and pyramids carbon date to be much older than they say they are. There's plenty of evidence for a much older date on a lot of these structures and landmarks. So but I thought it would light up the comment section. I thought you guys would be really excited about this topic and wanting to discuss it. I'm not as ready as I thought I was. So we're 30 minutes in and I'm out of stuff.
I'm gonna do that one day. I'm just gonna come on stream and after half an hour be like, I don't know, guys. That was it. I ran out of material. I think I'm done.
Jones.
Okay, I'm done with this guy. Let's move on.
This is Tony. Hope you're all doing well today, folks. Got an interesting video for you today. I'm going to be talking about something my friend sent to me. It was in a book from a long period of time before.
Next April Fool's joke? No, I had an idea for a next April Fool's joke. I don't remember what it was. Oh, I remember. It's gonna be bad. I think next April for April Fools, we're gonna do a karaoke stream, guys. We're gonna rock out to some karaoke, okay? It's gonna be great.
Before 2012, apparently, it's a prophecy, a prediction of what is coming after Trump. And it's by the same man who predicted Trump. So, there's a man named Mark Taylor. He predicted Trump would...
Mark Taylor's a goddamn crazy person, by the way. Jake and I reviewed a movie called The Trump Prophecy. He's the guy from The Trump Prophecy.
Become
He thinks God spoke to him in a dream and told him Donald Trump was going to become president and save the world.
President back in 2016. He also wrote in this prophecy, and I didn't realize this.
To be clear, he also prophesied Donald Trump was going to win in 2020, and he was wrong about that. Surprise. And now he's a grifter. He does the, you know, QAnon online grifter thing.
That there will be another person coming after Trump that's even greater than Trump, that will do much more than Trump did, that will actually turn America around the way we hoped Trump would have done. Apparently,
this is an interesting rhetorical shift because the QAnon people have been very, very about Trump for so long, but it seems that the tides lately, I don't know where this is coming from, if it's an actual grassroots movement within the Q people, understanding that Donald Trump isn't going to really help their fascist, like, fantasy come to fruition, because so much of the population really, really doesn't like Trump. So I don't know if this is people within just strategically saying we need to shift focus from Trump to someone else like DeSantis, or if this is straight up coming from political actors, because there are political actors that helped instigate the spread of Q for their purposes, and I am assuming they could be doing the same here. I'm not trying to be conspiracy theorist, it's just what I think's going on. Stone Corbell says, I mean, he's probably not wrong about this. We'll probably get someone even more outwardly fascist than Trump. Yep.
This person is referred to in this horse race. Okay, so Trump was referred to in the horse race as the name Secretariat, which is one of the horses racing in a horse race. And apparently there was another one in the horse race named American Pharaoh. Okay? And this is what the man is going to be called that comes after Trump. Now, Trump even referenced the word Secretariat in one of his speeches, so he knew all about this prediction. Okay? This man who predicted Trump would be president also predicted that Roe v. Wade would be overturned and it would be sent to the states, and each state would decide what could be done. And that's exactly happening currently. Okay? So let me just read this prophecy. This is really amazing because the whole idea is that this person that's coming after Trump, and this was in the prediction with the prediction of Trump. So like when he predicted Trump would become president, he was predicting another one greater than him would come after him. And he's not referring to Jesus. Okay, he's referring.
At no point did Mark say any of that prior to recently. If he's now saying that that's been part of his thing the whole time, he's lying. Because again, for the Trump prophecy video, I did, like, you know, internet research. Basically, I looked up a lot of stuff about Mark, and I watched a lot of his videos. At no point when he has described his prophecy, which he has done numerous times, did he mention someone coming after Trump. Trump was it. Trump was coming to save the country. He compared him to Netanyahu from, you know, why am I blanking? Oh, my back hurts so much. I hurt my back yesterday and it's been distracting me. Israel. Yes. The leader of Israel at the time. So, yeah, if he's post hoc saying that there's someone after, that's a new thing he's adding in later.
Referring to, at least from what I understand, he's not. He's referring to a normal human being. Okay? At least from what I can tell. So, and this is what my friend says. My friend studies this stuff all the time and knows a lot about this stuff and follows a lot of prophecy, and apparently he says that this is clearly referring to just a normal human that's going to basically take back America and take it from these elites and basically defeat them. And it's going to be miraculous even. It's going to be so miraculous that the times will change to where there's hardly any atheists left even.
You're gonna win so much, you're gonna get tired of winning. Play something new.
There's going to be agnostics, but there's not really going to be atheists in the future. Okay? Let me just read you this prophecy.
Those aren't mutually exclusive. Like, I would consider myself an agnostic atheist, right? I'm an atheist in that I don't believe there's a God, but I'm agnostic in the sense that I'm not saying I know that for a fact. In the same way, I guess I would say I don't think there's, like, any X number of mythical things. I don't know that. I don't have negative evidence, but I also don't feel like I have the burden of proof on that, so it's just like, whatever.
See, this is an old prophecy from before 2012, and it tells about this man is coming after Trump. Okay, let me read this. The great horse prophecy, the Spirit of God says there's another one coming. There's another one coming. It's a horse. That's right, a horse. The Spirit of God says there's another one coming, a horse, a great champion I have created, greater than the champions before him. For the champions before him were great, but this one is greater. For as the great champion Secretariat was great and his record never broken, this one that is coming will shatter all records before him. Now, Secretariat is referring to Trump. So this one's greater than Trump. For as Secretariat was a prophetic sign for the church in that generation, so shall his horse be for this generation. For this horse shall be a sign of my church for the time they are in. He will also represent my church in the spirit realm. They will run and not get tired. They will see and do things that never been done or seen before. For this generation will be great champions for my kingdom. The Spirit of God says the church did not recognize the last sign I gave them in Secretariat, but this time they shall. For the eyes of the world shall be upon this horse in my church. People might say, why is God interested in a horse? Because he is my creation and he is a sign that I'm giving my people for this generation. The old saying goes, records were made to be broken, and this horse in my church shall set records that will never be broken. Watch for this horse. Okay, and then it goes on, and this was actually from 2012. So what's curious about it, even
Okay. So he's reading into things that Mark wrote a decade ago that are so vague that even Nostradamus would be like, that's kind of... H-Beard says, this one's greater than Trump. He'll be impeached 3 times?
mentions the number 2012 there. Trump came out the first time to run in 2012, I think it was. He ran...
I thought he ran in 2000 as part of the Reform Party.
And before 2016. A lot of people are not even aware of this. He ran in 2012, and then he ran in 2016.
Yeah, he ran for multiple times. Let me see. Times Donald Trump ran for president. Yep. In 2000, 2016, and 2020. He unofficially campaigned in 2012 and Mulder run in 2004. So, over a decade before Mark made his prediction that Trump would become president, he'd already talked about running for office a lot. I remember that. In 2000, he ran under the Reform Party.
So, it says the first sign of the horse would be 2012, and the first sign of Trump, of any of these horses was 2012, and that was Trump and Secretariat. Now, this other one's called American Pharaoh, okay? And he said some of the stuff in his book about American Pharaoh. Now, let me tell you what he was saying. He was saying, there was an interesting thing. My friend wrote down all this stuff. He follows this stuff avidly. I don't follow it so much. I mean, I know a little bit about it. Okay, so now this is what he says about American Pharaoh. Okay. Just a sec here. So it's supposed to be an archetype of, like, the Pharaoh in Joseph. You remember Joseph in Egypt, right? And the Pharaoh gave him power, took him out of prison and gave him power, right? Maybe he'll be one of these people that was in prison recently because of trying to be a patriot. I don't know.
So this individual believes that one of the January 6th insurrectionist people are going to be pardoned by Donald Trump, for which he would have to become president again in 2024. And they then think that that person is going to become a president. Great.
It could be one of these people in prison right now. It's curious. That's very curious. I just thought of that because it says here it's an archetype of like what we saw with Joseph and Pharaoh. So you saw Joseph was in prison in Egypt because his brothers sold him into slavery, pretty much. His brothers sold him into slavery because they were jealous of him. He wore a coat of many colors. The rainbow. A little bit different use of the rainbow probably back then than we do currently, but Joseph was actually kind of one of those guys. He's one of those guys who would maybe stay inside his house or something and not really the guy that went out and worked. So he got technically not really fits, but you know what I mean. He wasn't, I don't think he was gay. But
what? I am so confused by all the things that just came out of this man's mouth. Harold Elbowman IV, thanks for 12 months. Happy anniversary, says, first came TBR, then VODs, then being confused by Twitch, now a whole year of watching. This guy, and weirder and worse as a subscriber. Thanks for being an amazing host and guide through the madness and cultivating a great chat community. Onwards. Thank you, Harold Elbowman. Cherry T21, thanks for 6 months. Says, hey Hannah, you gone over Alex Jones' court case result? I didn't. I'm assuming everyone heard about it. I did talk about it vaguely yesterday when it happened, but for one family for the Sandy Hook thing, he has to pay like $49 million in total or something.
But, I mean, you get the idea. He was more of an indoors kind of guy. At any rate, his brothers were really jealous of him because there was some sign on him that he was going to be great. And he was even given a dream that he would be great. And he was just young when he told the dream, and his brothers got extremely jealous. So they just sold him into slavery. Threw him in a pit first, and then they're like, oh, let's just sell him to some slave traders.
It wasn't a pit. It was a dry well. Keep your facts straight.
They were going to kill him, actually. They decided to just sell him some slave traders, and he ends up in prison. He gets sold to Potiphar's wife or something. What?
He gets sold to Potiphar. Potiphar likes Joseph because Joseph is an attentive worker, so he promotes him to be the head of his household staff. Then Potiphar's wife tries to fuck Joseph. Joseph's like, no, I'm not gonna fuck you. You're my boss's wife. And then she's like, well, then I'm gonna tell my husband you tried to force yourself on me. And she does. And then Joseph gets thrown in prison until such a time as it turns out that it's discovered that Joseph can interpret dreams for prophecy. The Pharaoh ends up having nightmares, and Joseph gets called in to interpret the Pharaoh's nightmares, after which the Pharaoh gives Joseph a pardon and makes him a high-up in Egypt.
Whoever that is, some guy that's kind of rich in Egypt. And then Potiphar's wife is lonely, apparently. And apparently Joseph looks kind of good. And she tries to basically make him sleep.
In fairness, have you seen The Amazing Technicolor Dreamcoat with Donny Osmond? Now, Donny Osmond, don't necessarily care for as a person, but he looks okay in that movie. I'll give him that.
With her. And he refuses to do it in honor for, I think Potiphar is his name, if I remember correctly. And she says, oh, he tried to rape me, when he didn't actually. She was trying to rape him, or trying to make him have sex with her at least. I don't know if that would be considered rape, but you know what I'm saying, whatever. So, at any rate, then he ends up getting thrown in prison, and then eventually he gives a dream to the Pharaoh, and it comes true or something. And
do we know why he has Mr. T on his wall? I don't know. I have no idea. It's a very strange mix of, like, wall art.
And it's about the fat cows and thin cows and all this stuff. I don't remember exactly how it all goes, but something like that. And then basically he gets out of prison because his dreams comes true and all this kind of stuff. And then he has another dream about, and then the Pharaoh has another dream about, yeah, actually, no, the first dream was about, like two of the people that are in prison, and one being restored and one not being restored or something. And
why do I'm not even religious. Why do I remember this story better than him?
Whole story. You get the idea. The whole idea is that he eventually gets out because of his dreams and his predictions, and he eventually gives a prediction of 7 years of famine and 7 years of plenty, which is really weird because there's been people predicting that's what's going on right now. So maybe we are in an archetype of that time frame of Pharaoh and Joseph and the 5 years of plenty, or 7 years of plenty and 7 years of famine. Maybe we're coming up on the 7 years of famine right now, and maybe this will be the American Pharaoh comes out somehow. Maybe he's going to be in prison somewhere because of, locked up for the wrong reasons or whatever, and maybe he ends up becoming the president because whatever reason, he ends up becoming president next time in 2024. Hopefully that's what it's referring to. It talks about American Pharaoh, and I'm assuming it would be 2024, but we don't know for sure. But it says he will be coming, and it sounds like it will be soon. It'll be in this generation. And it talks about how the church is basically going to have a huge golden age again. So basically, like all these evil people that are over all our media and our entertainment are going to be gone, and it's going to be good people over it for a while. However long this is, I don't know. So I'm going to just say, I'll just say a little bit of what he wrote here. The idea is that God-fearing Christians will basically be over all the major things like entertainment, economics, academia, the government, things like that, and there'll be mass revival. 1 billion souls will be saved. This is basically what the prophecy is about. American Pharaoh will be this leader that brings America back around, represent the church in the spirit realm, so that this means this prophet will have authority over the whole church throughout the world. He'll essentially be a beacon or a light, sort of representing the church. And it clearly isn't the Pope. The Pope's a what? It's not him, dude. Oh my goodness, no. That dude is totally corrupt and evil, as far as I'm concerned. But
I assume because he said, like, don't be mean to gay people, he hates the Pope. The clip is almost over. I know it feels like it's going on for a while.
At any rate, so let's see, what else does it say here? To the one who is victorious and does my will to the end, I will give authority over the nation. Oh, he's quoting a verse. And he's saying basically that this man will basically, somehow, God will use him to turn America around and everything. So maybe it is kind of like this Joseph story, and like maybe he'll essentially be a Joseph in America, and he'll be. Well, I mean, Joseph wasn't literally the Pharaoh, but he was second hand to the Pharaoh, and the Pharaoh...
Joseph was also an immigrant, technically, so...
did whatever he said, pretty much, because he was hearing from God. So maybe it's something like that, I don't know. But basically, he even says here that it'll be such a miraculous thing, and so many miracles will happen, that there won't even be people that are called atheists anymore, really. They'll be considered fools. I mean... it'll be like something shunned, and like people will look at you like you're an idiot if you're an atheist. If you're an agnostic, they'll say you're clever. I'm trying to find the saying here. He has the saying here. Okay, what is it? There will be a showdown. Like you had Elijah versus the prophets of Baal. It will be like a showdown between American Pharaoh, this new man, and these elite, basically devil worshiper guys that are over the world right now. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, here we go. Atheist. It'll be something like this. There'll be a saying like this once this all happens, because there'll be so many miracles. Atheism for the fool, agnosticism for the cunning, anti-theism for the wicked. So essentially, no one's really going to be an atheist. They'll be agnostics because they're not totally sure. You know what I mean? Which makes more sense to me. And anti-theism for wicked, which makes total sense as well. I mean, so. I think just becomes very obvious that there's something going on, and you can't just pretend like there's no God or something after all this stuff happens. So, at any rate, I thought that was rather interesting. So theoretically, and it doesn't say when he will come, this American Pharaoh, but I'm assuming it wouldn't be too long from now. Hopefully it'd be 2024. That'd be great, because we need it. I don't know. I guess we'll see. I don't think we can just last forever with these evil people in charge right now. I don't think so. So, some good news right there. Kind of want to know what some of you guys think about all that. Let me know in the comment section below. Thanks for watching.
What a nutbag. How much does he charge people for this shit? Because that's under free videos. Oh my god, he charges people $5 a month to see his dog shit. That's hilarious.
MAGA getting on, and I told you already, slaying these sodomites. No doubt about it. Now, we go get into these so-called rappers mentioning Donald Trump in their so-called rap music. As you could see, the Rick Ross right here with the skulls on, right there behind him with the Baphomet. You see what he did? He's sitting right there with the Baphomet. You see that? The one that they worship, the one that give them riches and fame and the masses, and you never get it. Now we go get into the so-called endorsement of Donald Trump by the fucking rappers, and now they're switching up on the people. It's all by design. I already told you. Just like you see the Rick Ross, the Puff Daddy, all of them, Kanye West, every single one of them, they eat out the same pot as Donald Trump. If you believe it, you just believe it. If not, you're on your own. It's just that simple.
If you're a hip-hop head, for a long time, you probably knew Donald Trump as one of rappers' favorite references.
You hear that? One of rappers' favorite references. You understand? Now this right here is a white rapper. So Mac Miller, so-called, a fucking fake on the masses. And of course, that's what new rappers look like nowadays. Fucking fakers on the masses. You understand? You hear that? They're saying that Donald Trump have money. And I told you already, people, you'll never get it. It's by design. Those music never wrote by these guys. You understand? This one called Soulja Boy. You think he write one of those songs that...
I don't know if Soulja Boy writes his own music. It's not uncommon for musicians to have other people write their music and then they just perform it. That's not an uncommon thing, and it's also not really a secret. That's like a known thing. Donald Trump, by 2010, which is when this music video is from, already a very famous figure in pop culture, from The Apprentice, from his work in like the 80s and 90s in real estate in New York City. He had done commercials for like Pizza Hut. Like, the guy was known as a pop cultural figure. He was basically the poster boy for douchebag 1980s real estate investor types.
Make it to the mainstream. You might could check out underground music that you get on .piff or one of them, or SoundCloud, but you can never get a hit tune, so-called mainstream music that these guys write. You understand? So all that refer to Donald Trump is just a fucking fake shit for the masses. The people who write the music, the same ones who put on Donald Trump, give them those lines. You better wake your ass up. And I told you, when they give them that, when they told them that people got money, when they told you that people have money, you more got respect for them. You understand? And they tell you that Donald...
I don't. It's not my fault if other people do.
Donald Trump is a billionaire. Of course, it's by design. Watch this right here, people. They got the Statue of Liberty, which is all coded for the devil people. Post up right there. You understand? And they got on gas masks and everything. They prove to the masses that they've been tricked by a lot of psyops. That's what you need to know.
Resurrection of the real time to get richer than Trump.
Resurrection, and of course he's gonna mention the resurrection sitting right there with the Baphomet. A lot of people never gonna understand that it's a devil work. They show you that their soul already gone. You understand? The devil got a hold of their soul. Everything they give them, they take it and run. This sodomite right here gonna fire up his blunt like Donald Trump. Wow, nobody know of Donald Trump smoking no blunt, but that's how it is. Just to mention the Donald Trump.
Donald Trump takes uppers, not downers.
And give him some credit. That's how they do it, people. Before he take office, that's how they do it. Wake your ass up. They endorse him all the way in, and then I remember T.I. right there. Is Lil Wayne and T.I. do this music right here, bigging up Donald Trump, and you see, now T.I. basically taking a stand against Donald Trump. All of them. It's just a flip-flopping show for the dumb masses. Put him on, try to take him off. Put him on, then take him off. That's how they do it, people. They've shout out to the Donald Trump. Yeah, wanna be like Donald Trump, and then later on they tell you that he's racist. All of them do it. All these is major music, as you could see him flashing the 360.
Lily Love Stuff says, this is the same guy who had the dog video, right? What happened to that energy? I know. He puts out tons of content now. He might just not give a shit
right there on the
anymore.
hand sign. All by design, people. Don't be dumb.
For most of us, that Trump has...
Watch your Puff Daddy. Younger Puff Daddy back in the days. And you should have seen it, people. Once you see him doing this Freemason handshake with this puppet right here, you know Puff Daddy is one of them. And he gonna make it big. You understand? Can't rap for shit. All fucking remix music. The music that's already hit, they give it to him. The people that own the music, remember, the people who sing the song don't own the music. The mainstream own the music. The people who put them on. So they put...
Chromatic Cuttlefish says, is there any actual connection between this guy's mouth and his brain? He seems to talk in pure free association word salad. Conspiracy theorists are like that to different extents. A lot of it has to do with just weird word association. It's like their brains make too many, like, fallacious connections. It's weird.
Put this fucker on, give him the music to remix, the music already hit, and then they make you right there a character, a gatekeeper for the music business. And of course he gonna endorse Donald Trump back then before he become president, and now when he become president, they against him.
And long forgotten, replaced, of course, with this guy.
Oh, look at my African American.
And there you go, people, just mocking the dumb masses. They would never get it, people. It's time for you to wake up. It's all by design to fuck with the people.
Look at him.
And in the last few years, a lot of rappers have changed their views too.
Trump win.
Yeah, but it's all by design. What do you mean they change their views? You think they make this music? You think the music belong to them? You better wake your dumb ass up.
Make my blood boil. Obama just wasn't enough. I need some more closure. And Donald Trump is not equipped to take this country over. I'm about to turn Black Panther. Don't let Donald Trump win that cancer.
A lot of this
same fucking rappers that so-called put him on to a lot of people who never really know about him. You understand? A lot of people listen rap back then. They don't know no damn Donald Trump. But of course they mention him, so they put him on. That's how they do it, people.
People knew who Donald Trump was in the year 2000 and 2004 and 2010 and 2012. The song that he was listening to at the end there is a song called Fuck Donald Trump that came out, I think, after he won 2016. So people definitely knew by that point.
But this shit right here.
can be explained by
he was in Home Alone 2, Escape from New York. Or not Escape from New York. Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Escape from New York is a John Carpenter film.
divisive politics. We certainly know more about them now than we did back then. But before...
Oh, you know about him now that you did than you did back then. You better wake your ass up. All by design, people. That's how they do it. You remember all the rappers was promoting Bill Clinton and tell you that he's more black than any black people that they know. Of course, that's how they do it, people. All puppets in the
run at the
spotlight.
presidency, Trump wasn't just liked. He was revered by hip-hop.
This is how they do it, people. You're not getting it. This is how they do it. You're not getting it. This is how they do it. In TV shows that you like, they're gonna show the Donald Trump. In a rapper that you like, you're gonna hear his Donald Trump name out his mouth, giving him some props. It's the same shit. They know a lot of dumb people used to feed on this shit right here. So-called Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. So why not bring...
Why does he say so-called so often? So-called Fresh Prince of Bel-Air? That is literally what it was called.
Bring the Donald Trump in there. You better wake up, people.
So what's behind Donald Trump's meteoric rise and fall from hip-hop grace? It all starts back in the...
Jake Thonis, thanks for gifting us up.
Rise and fall from hip-hop grace. Wow, dumb on.
I'm 40 and I remember.
Bam, and this is a sodomite right here, people. No doubt about it. It's a certified sodomite. You understand? A matter of fact, his name is Charlemagne the Sodomite right here on screen. You better wake up if you take anything from...
I understand it's an idiom he's using. I am saying he's using it wrong. I know it's an idiom, but he's an idiot.
Just consider yourself as dumb. Bam.
When, you know, hip-hop, Black America.
I mean, anything at all. I mean, anything at all you take from this guy, you should be shot. No lie, people. If you take advice from the Charlemagne the Sodomite, you deserve a bat to the head. This is the worst kind of fucking sodomite you ever see. Fooling the masses. And he pissed me off, people. He really do piss me off with this coon shit that he got going. Act like he down with black people and throwing the salt in your face. Come on.
It reflected in everything that we were doing. It reflected in the music when you had the Public Enemies and the KRS-One. And,
KRS-One, which is a big old sodomite in the music business. They put him on. That's what you need to know.
That's a yikes for me, dog.
Masses.
You had the brothers walking around with the Malcolm X hats.
And this right here, people, this is how they clown black people. Back in the days, you never get it. Tricolor crest, all sodomite they put on. As you can see, this one got the anchor on him, and he also got the pyramid. You understand? Just wake your ass up and look how they dress like fucking clowns. This one holding the Illuminati pyramid, and what kind of pants they got on? Pajamas? You better wake up. It's nothing but clowning for the black people.
African
Look at the boots that they got on, like clown boot. You gotta be kidding me, people. This is how they do the masses back then. They use these sodomites, dress them up like clowns. Hopefully you follow suit. That's how they get the black people to dress.
Okay, I think I'm done with him. Let's see what else we got. Chris hasn't posted anything new in 2 weeks. That's a long time for Chris. Hope he's okay.
It's 11:47 at night, and as you can see, a ship has come down. The same area that this ship came down in. There was a green flash, and then that ship is going to appear again, and it's going to go horizontally. There it goes. And you see one up above. This is wild. And look up here. We've got the full photo. There it is, coming straight down, and it kind of vanishes right behind the airspace in the sky behind this great big massive white looking star. And then all of a sudden it like reappears down below it, and it goes horizontally underneath the star. And as it does, there's another ship that comes diagonally up there at the top part of the, there it goes, at the beam.
That would be a shooting star. I've seen a shooting star in person. It also flared out kind of green. I don't know if that's just a function of the atmosphere making the sort of tail of it look that color. I don't know the reason behind it, but I've also seen that.
Following it. Okay, there should be no doubt in your mind if you're watching this video. We have cylindrical shaped ships.
The green burn is it's made of copper. Gotcha.
Coming down from the sky. At first I thought, did that laser shoot that ship down? I don't think it did. It just decided to come down. Because
it's not that kind of laser.
If it literally damaged it, it would not have been able to go behind here and exit back behind that airspace right below that star. You all, this is unprecedented. It really is. To find footage like this at the observatories, you see the green trail and wonder why it's green. Really, why is it green? But you can see the remnants of it as...
Conspiracy theorists can ask questions but have no idea how to actually find answers. Conspiracy theorists in every video ask a million questions, but not once in these videos do I see them take 5 seconds to Google the question they have. Why? We live in a world where people can get any piece of information at any time. Why are you doing this? Just look it up.
It's leaving the airspace under there and also at the top. Again, we're going to take one more close look at this footage as it's coming down from the sky. There it goes, and it disappears, and then it resurfaces right below this massive star in the sky horizontally as another ship is coming up there from the top of the beam. When that one by the star appears, the one at the top of the beam seems like it's fast on its track. It's following it. So with that being said, hello wherever you are in any part of the world. Hello, from my heart to yours. Love you.
Thanks, Gina. Lily Love Stuff says we're going to be headed into the Perseid meteor shower in the next couple of days, having it peak in about 5 days. Gina's going to have a field day with all those ships. Sorry if I mispronounced that, by the way. Jake Thonis says, did y'all watch the Gina one where she says she doesn't go on the internet? No. Hold on, I'll mute this and I'll play a different video for the music.
Shawty wanna fuck. Shawty likes it rough and she's got a big oily butt. A big round wet McMuffin. Shawty's got sexual techniques and a big round oily butt. Goosebumps on her booty cheeks. I wanna bust a nut. She's looking good, she's got a lot of class. Big hoop earrings and that big round ass. I crack a stupid joke, but it still makes her giggle. I'm one step closer to seeing that booty jiggle. Seeing that booty bounce
says,
up
wait,
and
how is
down
it possible
and
that
around.
Gina doesn't go on the internet but
Vigorously
still
shaking and
uploads
making that happy
videos?
sound. She's shaking that booty and dripping with sweat. Coconut booty oil makes her big butt wet. She's super bad, so I'm looking for some trouble. Booty looking like a big round wet bubble. Baby got back. Baby got a big round butt I wanna smack. Baby got oil dripping down her booty crack. I'm hungry for that booty, baby, give me a snack. I pour a cold glass of water on her big round butt. I makes her get the goosebumps so I can bust a nut. Shawty wanna fuck. Shawty likes it rough and she's got a big oily butt. A big round wet McMuffin. Shawty's got sexual techniques and a big round oily butt. Goosebumps on her booty cheeks. I wanna bust a nut. Whoa, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Shawty wanna flow, whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah, yeah. Whoa, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Shawty wanna flow, whoa.
Beautiful. The fact that I have any subscribers is honestly the most impressive thing. What else we got for conspiracy stuff? Nah, Peter hasn't posted in a while.
Okay, my great, wonderful, outstanding enthusiast.
Lily Love Stuff says, I'm here because I also am entertained by cringe and very dumb shit. You're one of my people.
Enthusiastic, curious friends. What the hell is this? I've been reporting on these balls for a long time. I know exactly what it is. What do you think it is? Why would that thing be just right in the middle of all this really hard rock? And why is all this color? You see this?
It looks like the stuff around it is obsidian. Obsidian, I think, is made of cooling magma, so I'm assuming that rock was subsumed by magma, then it cooled, became obsidian, and now they're chipping it out.
Orangish looking color, red, and that color. And why is there a little stripe wrapped around it? You see it right around this here? There's a core around it. And watch what happens when it hits. He knows where to hit it. Boom. He splits it right in half, and it has that ring right around it, the separation zone. You know, this is kind of crazy because those balls that you saw that guy chopping out of there, that is literally, and I'm not kidding you, literally your immune system.
All right.
The stuff that lives in between these balls. In these fluid-filled pockets between these balls are bacteria. Bacteria create enzymes. Enzymes create catalysts. Catalysts are the things that break down stuff instantaneously so you can absorb them or kill the things that are trying to attack you. This is where that little spot is right here. This is showing up a little bit.
Auntie Pretzel says, excuse me, what? This is Roger. Roger believes in ancient giants, and he also believes in mud fossils. So basically, he looks at rocks and goes, I think this rock looks like a giant head, or I think this rock looks like a goose, or I think this rock, this series of mountains from the top looks like a giant dragon. And instead of understanding what pareidolia is, he just thinks these things literally are those things. So if he sees a mountain range that he thinks looks like a dragon, that means it's literally the corpse of a dragon.
A bit bigger, and we can see the balls.
Yeah, he's the cave vagina guy. He thought that caves were giant vaginas, yes.
And then it shows you how close they are. Those black balls.
I
And
did see the
he
Return
chopped
of
it
the
right
Living
out of
Dead
a chunk like this, and the ball
Lots
came.
of good stuff coming out this October.
Oh.
For physical media people like myself.
And there's all kind of flappy straps in there. Now, he was in an area where the chemistry made it turn hard as hell. But there's places where you'll see these balls in these walls, and you'll see this white layer above, or whatever is above, the interstitium layer above it is called the mucosa. Let's take a look at that. Okay, my friends, you saw what interstitium is. And it is these balls and these fluid-filled bags and a mucosal layer.
KBS says it's called pyroclastic flow sphere. Basically, a piece of lava gets rolled into a sphere by a lava flow. Cool.
That separates you from the rest of the world. Underneath this side is all your good stuff. Is what they call a basement layer. So you have your exposed layer, and all kind of toxins are here all the time trying to break through. But you have enough bacteria here that can, bang, kill them. Boom, just like that, instantaneously. Unless the bacteria here is dead. And the bacteria in these poor guys from these burn pits has been so severely attacked, there's no more bacteria here left to attack back. Now, microbiome transplant, that's what I would go with. But certainly probiotics would be absolutely, if they're not taking them, I can't imagine why not. Nobody's paying attention to this. And the reason is because it's so over the top, they won't listen to me because they call me a tinfoil hat insane person. And here's why. Because I see this, and then I know this is the same thing.
Is that all? You poor man.
And this is on our Earth. This literally everything is constructed of creatures' bodies. And I'm sorry, that is a fact. I don't give a crap anymore about what anybody thinks. This is the mucosa. This is the interstitium. This is your layer of immunities. And these are the balls that anchored it in. This wet, fleshy mud is mud and clay that has eroded from the guy's fleshy body, which was made of...
Guys, can I tell you something just that I'm really excited about? I'm hungry. I did eat lunch today, but I am hungry. And we're starting to get, because people are RSVPing to Baha and I's wedding that's coming up. We got our first wedding gift in the mail. Got an air fryer. I'm so excited to use that air fryer. I think I'm going to use it tonight on some chicken tendies. It's going to be good. It's going to be good.
Of mucosa. Mucosa on the outside is that white layer, and then here's all the strappy stuff. Here it is. If you can't see that and you don't understand what you're seeing, you got the issue, not me. And that's what they put me in a box saying, don't talk.
I'm not sure what brand it is. I don't remember. I don't know.
Talk to this guy. He's crazy. Don't let him speak.
Aries Corinthier says, the way these guys say fleshy balls is oddly soothing. Oh, you should have seen the video where he was talking about the dragon poop. That was a great one.
So I need somebody like...
It's a Black & Decker. Thank you, Baha.
Jon Stewart. I need somebody like Tom Brady. I need somebody like Governor Newsom. I need somebody that's honest. And I'm having a hell of a hard time finding that person. All right, so I'm hoping that I can get through to these people. I'm sure there's a lot of honest people. I'm just not being heard. I've been so suppressed. It's unbelievable. People don't get my emails. They see it when it comes up. It says, watch out, be careful, this guy's a nutcase. I've been blocked from virtually every group on Facebook that talks about science discussions and this and that. No, they don't. They talk about you tell me what your professor told you, and then I'll think you're smart. That's it. All right, you saw that ball that the guy bashing out of some fluidy looking stuff that turns solid. Well, that's the fluidy looking stuff.
He doesn't know the word magma or obsidian. Okay.
And these are the balls. This is tissue from a living creature, and they petrified. They were giants of absolutely astounding proportion. If you go back and look, you'll see the black ball is in the midst of this really glassy looking stuff, and then you'll see some red brownish looking layers that are laying around, because that's the mucosa layer that covers this interstitium. And these are the balls, just like he was chopping out of there. These are anchors so that your body flesh can move around, but it always comes back to where the anchor is. Gigantic creatures were here. That's all I can.
Okay, so why wouldn't there be a ton of those things where they found that one? If you think it's this, then this should be prevalent everywhere in that area, relatively equally, right?
Tell you. All right, I'm going to just tell you right now. This is what's called interstitium. They are almost close to understanding it. This is brand new. They just found it a couple of years ago. I've been looking at this for 10 years. But these are the anchors that keep the flesh to come back where it's supposed to be. This right here, this layer here, is where all that catalase and all the enzymes live, and it's a fluid-filled highway. I've shown this because of putting hydrogen peroxide on my mud fossils, and they go right here, just fuzzes like, it turns just white just like that. And really close, though, is the anchors that hold everything together I showed you. Now let me show you how big these things can get.
Okay. I think I've had enough of Mud Fossil Guy now, too. Oh, these conspiracy people. Does anyone have any requests in terms of conspiracy theories you want me to look up while we're here? Let me know. We'll watch this New Vegas clip while someone lets me know. Who's YTP? I've not done much secret space program stuff, mostly because their videos are, like, long, 3-hour, like, streams most of the time. I gotta go through and get some clips or something. Console command. Cheater. Jesus Christ!
I hear reports of Legion raiding. Hey, nice to meet you. Do you need help with something? I think I should kill you before you have a chance to show those tapes to anyone. What do I have to lose? Alright, give me the tapes and I'll leave.
Oh, don't get paid off. Oh, he's gonna kill him anyway. God, I love Fallout New Vegas. Let's see what people said. Fall on Gong. How about this interview with David Icke in Ireland from 1991? He's a famous conspiracy theorist who's famous for helping popularize the modern version of the lizard people reptilian thing. often used as a dog whistle for anti-Semitic conspiracy theorists who really mean anti-Semitic things, but instead they'll, like, say lizard people or whatever.
My friends, our next guest was a goalkeeper for Hereford United Football Club and Coventry City. He had to give up his sporting career because of incipient arthritis. After that, he was elevated to the lofty ivory tower of BBC Sports as a commentator. He was then cast to the ground again when he joined the Green Party in Britain and became their spokesman on various affairs. Now he's upwardly mobile and with a vengeance. He's written a book called The Truth Vibrations, in which he says, amongst other things, that the world, the planet as we know it, is destined to be destroyed in the near future unless we, all of us, all the peoples of the planet, change their ways and get into line with the natural environment and start protecting the world and start protecting the environment and the planet. Otherwise, things are coming to a crunch. Inter alia, he also claims to be the Son of God. He claims to be the Son of God. How you're going to react to...
When did David Icke claim to be the Son of God? I don't remember that one.
This I do not know. But would you welcome, please, David Icke. David. Hello. How are you? Good to see you. Good to see you. You do claim to be the Son of God, David?
Yeah, let's get it right. We're all the children of God. We're all created by God. We're created by the thoughts of God. When we think...
Thank you, Halloween Town. I've been wanting to cover the Russell Brand stuff. We just haven't yet. Next week, I think we should start covering Russell Brand, because he's been getting into the conspiracy shit, and it's bad.
You feel. When we think thoughts of love, forgiveness, and peace, and all the things we want to bring to the world, we create a certain kind of very positive energy. When we think thoughts of hate, of all these other emotions, of anger, of fear, we create another kind of energy, a very destructive one, which, if it's in big enough quantities, destroys the very life force of creation, which comes from the being some call God. The name I'm given is the Godhead. Now, if we can create by thought, what can the Godhead do? This master spirit at the center of all creation. He can create almost anything he wishes by thought, and he creates us by thought.
But do you claim to be the Son of God? Because Terry Wogan said to you on the Wogan Show, you claim to be the Son of God, and you said yes.
Well, I am, yes, I'm saying that. What I'm saying is we're all the children of God. But some people come to earth. Jesus was one. There were many more before him.
Some animals are more equal than others.
Who are actually part...
We're all the sons and daughters and children of God. I'm just his favorite.
Part of the soul of the Godhead. It's God incarnate on earth. That's what Jesus was. That's what these other people were before. To try to bring the truth to a planet that has lost that truth for 12,000 years, and as a result of which we have taken this wondrous planet to the brink of not existence.
Jesus said, I and the Father are one.
Mm-hmm.
That means he was the Son of God. Are you claiming that too? You and the Father are one?
We're all one with the Father.
No.
Oh my God, what a fucking cop-out.
Yeah, we're all one with the Father. What I'm saying is that if I, as Jesus was, and others were before him, an aspect, part of the soul of the Godhead, then these beings are the Godhead incarnate.
Then we are all sons of God and children of God in that way.
Well...
But are you special?
No one's special.
But have you been singled out?
The message that comes across all the time is the Godhead loves all of us as if there was only one of us. No one is special. But there are certain people who come to Earth at certain times, and to other planets too, at times of great crisis to try to help to sort things out. And they are just the Godhead in a physical body. This great transformation of Earth that's already beginning is already underway, is being guided not by yours truly alone, but by the whole of creation.
Can he talk about the lizards, please? I'd like to hear about the lizards. MH Darkbeast says a bit of a cleanse for you, Hannah. Just love
Well,
this
we've
one.
been together about 84 years, and we're...
Thank you. I'll save it, but we're coming close to the end. I feel like I should just start, like, writing awful, like, conspiracy books. It doesn't even have to be long, like 60 pages or something, and just self-publishing to Amazon. Sell it for 50 cents. Just get some passive income from crazy conspiracy theorists. Because it seems like their stand-up stuff says, I'm thought of doing that and getting into the Christian romance novel market. I've written enough fan fiction to be confident if I get rid of the smut, I can do a decent Christian romance novel. Probably. I think I could do conspiracy theory. I know enough of their talking points, and they just want their talking points that they already believe repeated back at them in new ways. So I can just repackage that, make a couple $100, do it again and again and again.
According
Tea with Goblins with 200 bits says, sorry, slightly off topic, but I know you like theme parks, and the mention of the Isle of Wight reminds me of, Black Gang Chine, a very odd theme park that is slowly falling into the sea as the island erodes. I spent some time in the UK as a kid, and my mom always took us. To call it melancholy would be an understatement. I think it's been redone now, though. I mean, it looks fine, but this is the modern website. I'd have to see what older pictures of it looked like. Goosh. Citisaurus with 100 bits says, a friend of mine started going conspiracy crazy and shared a video by this douche on Facebook about the pandemic. I tried to explain about what a nutbag this guy is, but she got mad and told me I needed to have a more open mind. It was pretty frustrating. Glad I never ended up dating her knowing how she is now, but she also believes in the hollow earth apparently. It was hard not to laugh out loud after that conversation. Yeah, yikes.
Up yours, woke moralists. We'll see who cancels who.
2.5 minutes left on the hype train. I'm just waiting to get through the hype train before we do the raid.
Another victory, Commander. I knew my faith in you was not misplaced. You cannot be serious. Come, Comrade General. A new world order awaits. What do you have for me?
I'm sorry, Comrade General. I meant Premier Cherdenko.
Yes! Excellent job. The port is ours, and the Empire is on the run now. We must strike swiftly before they can mobilize their forces. До свидания. Bottoms up, Nikolai. Excellent work, Commander. I had no doubt that our coalition would prove to be successful.
Commander, once again, the motherland owes you a great debt.
You cannot be serious. We succeeded despite, not because of this so-called commander. And it's a good thing I arrived
That
when
will
I
be
did.
all, General. General Krukov has a tendency to overstep his authority. One day he will go too far. Right now, however.
Glad to see you up and around, sir.
Thank you, Dasha. It is good to be alive. Commander, the traitor is General Krukov. He is the dirty swalloch responsible for the attempt on my life. Cut out the cancer.
Tea with Goblins with 145 bits says, Hannah, I found where the Satanists on the island of Wight are performing their sacrifices. Only took me 5 minutes of Googling. Suck on that, David Icke. Is that like a putt-putt golf place? What the fuck? Is this at that theme park? That's cool. Alright, let's do the raid. Who are we raiding? Cirrus is doing a thing, right? Alright, have a good night, everyone. I won't be back tomorrow. I'm visiting a friend. So I won't be... Did the raid command not work? Oh, I see what I did. There we go. Alright. Love you too, Mr. Blast. Alright, I'll see you guys Monday. Have a good night.